Hello everybody, Andy here, and today I want to talk about alternative formats for Kill Team. Let me take a step back. I apologise, I've gone too far. That's what I'm talking about. Why would I talk about that? Good question. So here's the thing, okay? I'm really into games. I know, who would have guessed? Who, 5 years on this, and here I am. But I get bored easily, and so I really like variations. I really like the idea of having a different game for a different mood, for a different theme, for a different mechanic, right? I'm into that. However, what really sucks, and I can't stress this enough, is learning new rule sets. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're learning an interesting new mechanic that you really gel with, that's awesome, that feels good, okay? However, let's be honest now, what kind of sucks from the whole learning a new rule set thing is unfamiliarity. If there's anything that gamers don't like, it's change. We all know that, alright? We're all gamers. We can admit we don't like change. I certainly dislike change quite heavily. Now, Kill Team is a brilliant game, okay? Like, it's got so much goodness to it that I don't want to downplay that. But I've played it a lot. I'm not going to lie, I've played a lot of Kill Team. A lot of KT has gone through this brain. And so I'm out the other side. I want to play other things. I'm looking at other games. I'm looking at War Machine. I'm looking at Infinity. I'm looking at Moonstone. I'm looking at Relic Blade. I'm looking all over the shop, okay? I'm having a butcher's, if you will. No, you will not. And so, in doing this, that's cool. I'm really enjoying my time as I look at other things. But I don't know any of those systems as well as I know Kill Team. And there's something nice about that familiarity of being able to just put a game on the table and say, I know everything about this game. Okay? That's nice. That's comforting. And so how can I get, as me who wants to flit around and do different things, how can I truly enjoy that kind of absorption of other mechanics and variation if I'm playing just one game? That's not me, that's not my vibe, but I like the comfort. So what do? I try different mechanics within the same game. So basically, here's how it is, okay? Kill Team is a very nice, tight, don't make a joke there, skirmish game and rule set. And it's quite, what's the term? What's the phrase? Let's use a good word here. Let's use a good verb. It's a skirmish game that pits two people together, and that's all it does. And there is one alternative style of play, which is narrative, okay? However, the narrative is still basically the same game, right? In fact, of course, Games Workshop in general, at the moment, tends to have all of their narrative just be, hey, you can play this and you can give your guys stuff, but we've written it in such a loose way that we're also giving you permission to play a narrative game without any narrative rules. And it's just the same as always, so that their narrative campaign players can play against tournament competitive players, and in your head, you just like fanfic the game and say, oh, that was narrative, okay? That's cool, that's totally the style of doing it, awesome. However, it means that the core game you're playing is identical. Maybe you have some extra rules, and that's it, okay? Nothing wrong with that, that's cool. However, it does mean that if you want to play Kill Team, really, you're always playing Kill Team. Now, for some games that works, okay? For example, I played X-Wing, the first edition of it. I ground that bad boy out. I never wanted to play anything other than the basic skirmish game. They did have like alternative rules. They had I think every mission or like ship you bought had a little kind of thematic scenario inside it. Did not care, did not play X-Wing. I just wanted to play the skirmish, the dogfight. It was awesome. Kill Team, it's had me going for a long time now, but I'm wanting to branch out, and so I pitch to you, my good chaps, chapesses and chapai, an alternative, or a list of alternative game modes that I have come up with, which I think you might find interesting if you're in perhaps a similar boat to me, if you are flagging, if you will, if you're going a little bit deep sigh at the current thought of Kill Team. There's no news, you know, we know that the end is coming soon. So like, meh, why play? You know, it's a bit of a down mood. Oh, and like, it kind of seems like half the people haven't been able to even buy Kill Team for the last year. So, you know, let's have a think about alternatives, because this is a way that you can kind of reinvigorate your interest if it's getting a little bit flaccid, if you will. Not a problem I've ever had. Oh wait, oh no. I've just made a video all about how flaccid I am for Kill Team. Shit. Alright, okay, so let's start with the top 3, which I think are very obvious. These are not a modification of the rules, and I'm not going to talk about them because they're all actually going to have their own videos. Solo play, adventure game, and boss battles. If you're a patron, I've already done a boss battles video, which you've already seen, and I've already written the script for a solo play / adventure game variant, which I want to highlight, obviously talking about the Acolyte rule set that the guy did a little fanfic campaign for. Rule set for. So, you know, those are coming. I'm going to talk way more about them. You know, how do you convert a cool big 40k model into being you know, playable in Kill Team. I've done a whole thing. It's really good, I'm sure. Solo play, you know, is basically the video there is, can you solo play Kill Team outside of just practicing the game so you don't embarrass yourself at tournaments? And then, like, how can a solo play become an adventure game with like Fog of War, blah blah blah. Cool, you get it. Okay, that's coming later, don't you worry about that. Right, let's start with my first, and in my opinion, I like this. So I like to challenge myself because Kill Team is such a comfortable rule set for me, because I know it relatively well and I don't have to think too hard about it. I like to push that knowledge a little bit further and challenge myself. And I think that actually, if you go and read through, or if you look at everything I'm about to say, a lot of it isn't add this rule to Kill Team to change it. It's pressure yourself, you know? And I think that pressure adds fun, if I'm honest. Yeah. The idea of being forced into making mistakes is fun, okay? Hence, we come up with the first concept of, so I don't know what to call this. You could just say, so it's kind of like touch Kill Team, but not touch Kill Team, okay? So, you know, touch chess, as soon as you touch a thing, a piece, you have to do something with that piece. Cool. So that's not enough, okay? Because the thing is, chess works that way because you're working on a grid, so you can touch a thing and then you're locked into like 4 moves, and that's all you can do, you know, practically. Because of the open nature of Kill Team, the only thing you would ever touch a model for would be movement, and then you're locked into a move or a dash, I suppose. But because you have complete, total, you know, 360 degrees in every possible axis, it's not actually much of a lock-in, is it? So, I guess I would call it, you know, pushing to the Americans here, declaration Kill Team. Also, on top of that, no pre-measuring. That's kind of the thing, because if you can pre-measure, this isn't a format. This isn't a variant. This is just think before you do. No, I'm saying guess what you want to do. So declaration Kill Team, how does that work? So it's not just touch Kill Team, because that isn't enough of a thing, right? So declaration Kill Team, you might find this fun. Firstly, no, you can't measure anything until you have to measure something, okay? So step 1, say what you want to do before you do it. And then you have to do that to the best of your ability with no changing. I've done a lot of research the last few months. If you're aware of Kriegspiel from 1824, the original Prussian war game, in fact, this is a little bit how that went. You see, back then, you would, as a general in the Prussian army, have your stuff out in front of you, and you would say, I want that to go there and attack them. You're never allowed to touch any of your models. You would tell an umpire, and the umpire would collate your orders and your enemy's orders and then do things for you, you know, creating that kind of hands-off strategic element as opposed to a tactical element, which is what we currently do because it's a game, not a war simulation, right? So, sorry, tangent. So what you're trying to do here is simulate, and obviously, you know, hey, this isn't a competitive thing. This is you having fun with your friends because it's a weird thing, right? So play it, you know, don't be a dick, right? Play it properly. You're challenging yourself. You're not trying to win, you're trying to challenge yourself. Win against yourself, okay? So you say, whatever it is, I want to move there and shoot that guy, okay? No measurements. So your activation, you say, that guy, this model, is going to move there, then he's going to shoot that guy. Or he's going to charge that guy, whatever. And then you do that to the best of your ability. So let's say your intent is that you move to within an inch of that light cover and then you shoot that guy with your pistol. You have to make your move, okay? And let's say you end up not within an inch of that piece of cover. Tough? You have declared that's your intent. And then you go to shoot with your 6 inches. You're not in range. Pass the go. Okay? I think that'd be fun. I think I would enjoy doing that a few times, you know, so pre-measuring it, oh man, pre-measuring in games is a whole other thing. This is going to be a long ass video, goddamn. Basically, pre-measuring, a lot of people don't like it because it's very, very easy to cheat with pre-measuring, okay? Because as soon as you have put any measurement tool down on the board, you can pretty much guess any other pre-measure, like any other measurement, you know? If you know that this guy is within 6, you can pretty much guess everybody within 6 of that. But again, challenge yourself. Don't be a dick about it. Just enjoy the game. Enjoy not knowing measurements. Okay? It's fun. And that's a declaration kill team. The declaration of kill team. Okay, anyway, moving on. Grid. I love grids. I like grids. So, smoking a pancake. Yeah, grids are fun. If you have watched this channel, you know how much I love grids. This isn't really an alternate mode. This is just, you know, why measure things? Play the game on a 1-inch grid. Done. There you go. Okay, I don't need to say any more about that. Firing arcs. I think that this would work well with the declaration kill team a lot. So firing arcs are an interesting mechanic. For example, in Infinity, they still have firing arcs, and it allows a lot of interesting play. But that's partly because of how the Overwatch system works and how kind of aggressive it is, perhaps. That firing arcs mean that you really have to think about where is the next model going to be coming from, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, for example, War Machine recently moved to its next edition, and it actually dropped firing arcs because apparently it slowed the entire game down to a crawl on a regular basis, and new players found it really confusing, blah, blah, blah. Cool. I think firing arcs are really fun to play around with. Are they actually legitimately good as a mechanic in a game? Oh, I shouldn't have said that, should I? It depends what you're trying to simulate in your game, obviously. There's no hard and fast rules about any mechanic. However, I think it would be quite fun in Kill Team. It would really add... But then, you know what? In Kill Team, you are already, because of the cover system, attempting to flank enemy models. Maybe we're just piling negatives on top of negatives. Because if you get the shot, then you've already probably gone outside of the firing arc. Anyway, firing arcs are cool. There you go. Definitely use those. And, you know, adding those alongside no pre-measuring, quite fun. I think that's kind of an addition, if you will. And likewise, all of these things could be played on the grid. You know, on the grid, is that Tron? I don't know. Anyway, right. We then have Legacy Kill Team. Okay, so for those of you unaware of board games, which in fairness is probably quite a few wargamers, the idea of a legacy board game is that certain elements, typically like a card, is going to get torn up after use. So the game, a legacy board game, because that's where it seems to come from what I can tell, it's designed to be played once. Typically, it will be multiple play sessions. So you will go through a campaign, and each mission in that campaign, whatever the board game or war game, whatever it is, gets played one time, and whatever happens in there is unique to you and your game. And then at the end of that mission, you destroy a game component. And that means that it is legacy. I don't know why the word legacy. Anyway, never mind. So how do you make Kill Team Legacy? Because obviously we're not going to destroy our models, okay? Or are we? No, we're not. That'd be insane. No, so I think that Legacy games apply to Kill Team, and you know what? Let me know if you have any better ideas, because I just had a quick think, quick brainstorm, a quick mind map, and I came up with kind of two ideas. So in just a normal game, a Legacy thing that you could do is all ploys could only be used once. There you go. You know, they still cost your CP, and I guess you could say like, oh, CP reroll can always be used, something like that. But yeah, there you go. All ploys can only be used once in the game. Might be interesting. However, maybe even extend that to all abilities on your datasheet can only be used once. You know? So, is that Legacy or is that just singular Kill Team? I don't know. However, I think that, you know, obviously much like in board games, that format would really come to life in Kill Team if you're doing a campaign or a game day. So perhaps all models, so obviously it wouldn't be a tournament, because tournament implies competitiveness. And, oh man, I mean, all games are competitive, obviously, like even, yeah, all games are competitive inherently, just that's the nature of games. But, no, so a game day is probably a better phrase, because it's weird, right? So, how about this? All models get one life in your game day, however many, you know, 3 games. Across 3 games, every model gets 1 life, and you keep going until only 1 player has any models still alive after a game, right? There you go. Now that would be quite interesting. So obviously this is pure fun, right? And the buy-in is multiple games, so no one's going to do it, but it's a fun thought experiment, let's be honest. Oh man, what a damning statement that no one is going to try this weird, wacky alternative game mode because you have to play multiple games of Kill Team. I feel I've just roasted my own channel pretty hard, considering I started a channel about that. Anyway, it'd be quite fun, I think, because it totally changes the dynamic of not just the game, well, the mechanics, but also the win condition. So you still need to win the game, right? I guess? Yeah, you'd have to still win the game, I guess. But you want to do it by taking the fewest casualties possible. That'd be quite interesting. Now, obviously, you know, any alternative format is going to inherently change the power levels of the teams, and I think that'd be quite fun. Who can get through the entire game day, but every time your models don't come back? Cool. Right, I've then forgotten what the next ones are, so I'm going to read from my screen. Oh, Blitz. Okay, yeah. So, if you're watching this and you're 18 minutes into this video, you already know what Blitz is. Blitz is the quintessential format that I've already played on the channel before in a battle report, and I've talked about to my patrons a lot, and I've also talked about in various chess clock things. I'm a fan of chess clocks in general. I think they're pretty great. However, as something to push you to play a specific way, and as I said, make you make mistakes, the Blitz format is a little bit loose in the sense that you are supposed to deliberately put yourself at to an amount of time in the game that you believe you will not succeed at, okay? Now, straight up alternating activation games don't work as well with chess clocks as the larger games that work in phases and I go, you go, but it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, we can only work within the bounds of what we're doing here. And so, yeah, Blitz is really fun. Try to make yourself time out. That's kind of where you want to be, but then play as absolutely as fast as you can. What happens when one of the clock times hits 0? So here's the thing. I think that Death Clock is brilliant. I really like Death Clock, which is whoever's time hits 0 first, they lose. Done. Whoever hits 0 loses the game. Doesn't matter what the VP is. Win-loss, you lose. Okay? Nice and binary. However, I don't think Death Clock works as well in alternating activation games. So I think you need to go to Soft Clock, where is when you hit 0, you're not allowed to roll anything. You can't play any strats, you can't use any abilities, you are only allowed to roll defense dice, and when you roll in melee, you just have to parry. You can't do anything else. There you go. Again, the intent with this is to play as fast as you can because you are trying to make yourself make mistakes. Now, if you're a tournament player, why would you do any of this? Because it makes you a better player. Alright, moving on. Okay, so we then have an alternative format. Kill the leader. Obviously, this was kind of inspired a little bit by the last edition of Kill Team, where leaders were super important. And so, if you're with me from then, you know exactly what this format's going to be. But luckily, we don't have list building, so we, hey, who's the best leader of Kill Team 2018? The Grot, the 3-point Grot. Because you could hide him anywhere. And that's why he was the best. He was a CP generation machine. But we don't have that now, so you can't cheese this game mode. So it's just whoever kills the leader first wins. See what you can do. It will become a real game of positioning and denial while still trying to be aggressive. With the one hand, you keep your defenses up. With the other, you punch them. But I've got a microphone in my hand, so I can't do that. You get me. It'll be quite, just fun, silly little game. See what you can do. It will, again, all of these formats are going to really make you think about the game differently. So it will make you a better player. I'm not saying you should do it every time, but fun to do. Final one. So this is for the narrative players, perhaps, but okay, so here's the thing. Right, there are two reasons I don't play narrative Kill Team. Firstly, the commitment. I don't like commitment. Just going to throw that out there. It's a thing. But more like, because I want to play multiple things. Okay, so if I do a campaign of Kill Team, what do I have to do? Like, I think a campaign is supposed to be like 8 missions minimum or something like that. And I don't want to play any team 8 times in a row, or even within 6 months, to be honest with you. So for this, I would say, that's not my vibe. That's not my vibe. However, there is kind of an idea. Oh, sorry. The second reason is there's more rules. I mean, let's not, look. Let's just say it. Narrative Kill Team is just Kill Team, but with more rules on top. That's not a negative to Kill Team. That's how most narrative games are, I suppose. But I don't like more rules. I struggle enough as it is. So more rules equals bad. There you go. Right, and then. How can we change that up? How can we mix it up? You know what might be fun? Playing the top tier echelon final game in a narrative battle report. So I was thinking about Necromunda. And Necromunda, interesting game I'm looking at the moment. I've got a campaign lined up, perhaps. But, well, firstly, how am I going to handle playing one gang all those times past? Don't know, probably won't. In truth, probably play it twice and say, yeah, that's enough. But Necromunda gets really crazy and wacky and broken at the end of the campaign, right? Does Kill Team? I don't know. I don't think anyone's ever actually finished a campaign of Kill Team, so nobody actually knows. This will be treading new ground, truly. But you know what? That sounds fun. Like, I'm good enough at Kill Team now that I could do that, so... But I don't want to play 8 games to get to that. So how about you simply take your fully rolled up final game of campaigniness and just play that as a one-off. Everyone gets all the buffs. You pre-roll all of your battle scars right there at the table. You give everyone your cool extra equipment. Everyone is kitted to the max, and then you play. There you go. I think that could be fun. And then you have a one-off game, and you don't have to slog through, 3 months, 4 months of playing a team you're slowly growing bored of, let's be honest. And then the whole campaign fizzles out before you actually finish it, right? Like, that's what happens to most campaigns, let's be honest. And instead, just say, you know what? I want to play that. I want to play the crazy version of Kill Team, which is officially endorsed by the narrative rules, as opposed to the crazy versions of alternative formats that I just suggested here. There you go. Kill Team. Alternative formats. Me, I'm I'm exiting my journey of Games Workshop. I'm no longer their thrall. I am a free man, you know, somewhat. But, you know, that means that I can go and play genuinely other games that do things differently. But that is such a recent development for me. For a long time, I just would say, oh, Moonstone, go away. Infinity, no. Right? Not my thing. And that's how a lot of gamers are. A lot of gamers, a lot of you people watching right now are GW exclusive gamers. You know it's true. Sunken cost fallacy, probably, let's be honest. But maybe other things, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you. Well, now, you know, while I'm out getting my fill of different mechanics and different interesting formats, etc., by just playing the other games and supporting other companies, other independent creators, you could perhaps consider getting your different mechanics, your different formats, your different flavors with Kill Team, and perhaps by using some of my suggested alternative formats. Stay gangster, see ya, bye.